I feel like this is a job interview. This isn't a good idea, is it? Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're listening on podcast, you will not see that I have changed my environment, and it generally, I'm in my kitchen, and we've just done up our kitchen recently. Giving you a bit of a life update, I feel like that's necessary. So I'm in the kitchen, and because of all these notes behind me, I just feel like I'm in a job interview, and just the setup feels quite formal. Not sure how I feel compared to sitting on my bed, but we're rolling with it. Today I think is a bit of a slightly shorter episode, and I'm going to be speaking about setting health goals. If you have watched or listened to my previous episode, I told you guys that I just wanted to really start focusing on myself, really start focusing on my healthier habits that I kind of lost throughout this year because this year has just been so hectic for me, and I haven't really been able to prioritise those behaviours and habits in my life, and it's kind of just gone downhill. We tend to set the wrong goals just because they look more desirable and attractive and more worthy. And it got me thinking about how, obviously we're 6 months into the year, maybe 7 now, I can't count apparently. And it reminded me of how we set our New Year's resolutions and how they tend to fail. Not fail, but we don't really tend to stick to them. Well, I certainly didn't this year, and I didn't really believe that whole belief about New Year's resolutions. I don't think they're complete rubbish. I do think they have their place, but I do think that most of the time, when people set their goals a few months down the line, they find that they're not still behaving in the ways that they should be to reach those goals. So I kind of just want to talk about why that happens and what's the alternative and what we should be doing instead. And again, I'm not an expert, this is from my experience, but also from everything that I've just been learning. So the first thing I wanted to say is that when you are setting your health and fitness goals, whether that's how many workouts you're going to do a week, and I think when it comes to health, when we say we want to change something, it's like, I want to change it all. I want to change everything. I want to change my whole lifestyle. I want to change the person I am and become a new me. And whether that's coming from a place of self-hate or just, you know what, I really want to work on myself and I really want to change. It's a complete drastic lifestyle change, so it is a bit more difficult. You want to kind of change your whole life around. So it's a big thing, right? And that to someone is more desirable, it's more attractive, it feels like a more worthy goal than just saying, oh, you know what, I'm gonna do 3 workouts a week and I'm gonna try sleep really well. That seems like you're doing nothing. It seems like such an average thing. Why would you even set that as a goal? It doesn't feel worthy enough of being this goal that's going to potentially change your life. And that's what everyone wants. We want this outcome of life change, because otherwise what's the point? I don't want to be where I am now. I want to be completely different. I want to, whether it's just for yourself or to also show to other people, yeah, she went away and she did that, or he did that, or they did that, you know? And I do get that. I do get why that's attractive to someone, especially with being this age. I found I've had so many times where it's why don't I just get off my phone for however long it needs to be, go and focus on yourself and come back this new person. And it's so tempting to just do that, but I just don't know whether my intentions for doing that are coming from a very good place. Why do I want to go away, not hide, but just fall off the face of the earth and come back to, am I trying to prove something to someone? And what am I trying to prove, and why don't I feel worthy enough to just be why do I have to feel like I have to change to then prove to other people, oh look, she did that? What's going on behind that? And I feel like many people also go through that same thing, because maybe in movies, I don't know what it is, but it just looks very desirable. It's a very desirable thing. So yeah, I could see myself recently when as I said, that I've been trying to focus on my health and fitness. My initial thoughts and reactions were, okay, well, you need to change everything from the food that you're eating. You should start cooking all your meals from scratch again. Why don't you cook anymore? And I started thinking about, well, okay, you should also probably start counting your calories. You should really work on your steps. You should be doing a range of, you should be going swimming. Why aren't you going swimming? When was the last time you went swimming? You should be sleeping while reading, listening to podcasts. All these areas of my life, journaling, which, yes, to a certain extent, I am dipping my toes in all of those factors, but I don't have to go all in all of those things, wake up really early, go to have a perfect bedtime routine. I can't be perfect in all of these aspects of my life just to reach my health and fitness goal, because what tends to happen is maybe the first month you are motivated and the goal itself is motivating, so it pushes you to do all those things that you're intending to do to get you to your goal. But life happens, as it did for me, which are unexpected and kind of get in the way, and bit by bit the behaviours that you're doing get chipped off. Something has to go. You have to make some sort of sacrifice, because at the same time you are working towards a long-term goal, and a lot of people say that the short-term things, the short-term gain in certain behaviours, or like choosing to have a chocolate bar, short-term gain, but it's not going to do much for you in the future, or going on a night out and drinking some alcohol and partying with friends and not having much sleep is a short-term fun and high, but is probably not the best thing to be doing frequently for your long-term goal. I don't think those short-term moments where you are seeking a bit of reward is that much of a bad thing, because they do make us happy. Like if I wanted to have a chocolate bar here and there, again, that's absolutely fine. Everything in moderation, and everything, you can live a healthy lifestyle and have a healthy diet even by including a bar of chocolate. You can have a healthy lifestyle even if you can have a night out with your friends and you are drinking alcohol, and maybe your sleep is out the window a little bit, because there are other parts to our health and wellness and mental well-being than just our own individual behaviours. And actually, if you've been on your own for a month, or you haven't really been seeing your friends, then that night out is probably more valuable to your health than staying in that night that you would have done, if that makes sense. I'm going off track. What am I trying to say? So yeah, this whole huge lifestyle change, turnaround that you want to achieve is attractive, and you're probably motivated by the outcome and how successful and how desirable you think that outcome is. But as I said, life can get in the way. Some things will have to go inevitably, because you can't always 100% stick to what you've set out to achieve. I mean, sometimes you can. This isn't all the time, but I'm just trying to say typically this is the trajectory of trying to change your life around. And then that can come demotivating, because you set yourself up to do all these things, and you were doing those things, and slowly you found that things are getting in the way, and it's harder to stick to those behaviours, and you start to feel down about everything that you set out to achieve, because you're like, oh well, I'm not sticking to it, and it's like, oh well, now I'm never going to achieve blah blah blah, or it's like, well, now I might as well just give up completely because XYZ. And maybe you don't reach that stage, but again, I just feel like the general gist of how you're going to feel by not being able to stick to all those things, especially when you've set such an ambitious, I want to change my life around, you just feel like you're not living up to that expectation. And that is demotivating, and that can stop you or reduce your improvements in sticking to those behaviours. And what I wanted to say here is that doesn't make you a failure at all, in the slightest. It really doesn't. And really, what we should be aiming to do is setting those more average looking goals that don't have all this attractiveness attached to it. That's not a complete lifestyle change, because I guarantee that if you did stick to those average looking goals, the outcome is probably going to be more life changing than setting those complete lifestyle change goals to begin with. But people don't recognize that. And to reach a goal, you have to be consistent. And if we're more likely to fall at the first hurdle when those goals are too big for us and life gets in the way. And again, as I said, then you just get demotivated and you stop being as consistent because it was too hard to stick to begin with. Whereas if you did just go with my average goal of, okay, I'm just going to do 3 workouts a week and I'm going to focus on my sleep, and you did that for a few months, you're probably changing your life in more ways than you realise, because you didn't have that stability and consistency before. You sleep more, so you're more productive during the day, you're getting more tasks done, and maybe that helps within your career, in your finances, in whatever other aspects of your life that you're looking to improve as a byproduct of you getting more sleep. Again, with the exercises, maybe whatever fitness goal you do have, maybe it's getting stronger, maybe it's your fitness and running, or whatever it is. If you didn't have that stability before, but you're actually able to stick to those 3 workouts a week and you are consistent, you're going to see more improvement in your fitness than you would have done setting 5 workouts a week, plus steps, plus the exercise routine that you are trying to stick to is actually a bit too intense for you and you don't really enjoy it that much. But it's something that you feel like you have to force yourself to stick to. So yeah, I hope that just kind of makes you think a little bit when you are looking to change an aspect of your life, whether that is in your health and with your fitness, with your diet, with healthy eating, or in another area of your life. I've just picked health and fitness because obviously I'm a nutritionist and I study psychology, it just kind of works. When you are setting your goals, try to avoid setting the most ambitious and lifestyle changing goal because it looks more attractive, and I know that can be a hard thing to do, especially if you're not really feeling yourself right now and you feel like all these things need to change and you just want to forget about your old life and the way that you're living and you just want a complete turnaround. First of all, another thing to say is that all comes from your head, and that's your mindset and how you see things and the thoughts that you're having. Question yourself why you want to change and what is it that's making you feel like you need to change, because change is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that you shouldn't want better for yourself and improve yourself, but you need to identify the things in your life that you don't really enjoy or are not making you feel so great. Again, this is something that I mentioned in my last episode, but what do you want your day to look like? What do you want your life to look like? And once you have an awareness of the things that you do and don't like and don't want your life to look like, you have a sort of sense of direction. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that helps you when you're setting your goals, and makes you feel less like a failure when there are challenges along the way, because life, as I said, does happen. So you need to make sure that you're doing what you can to support yourself to then be consistent when life does get in the way. Do have compassion for yourself. Maybe you need a week off, maybe you get ill so you need to rest. So many things can get in the way, and the best thing for you is resilience and being resilient. It's such a key thing for our mental health in general. It's not being critical of yourself, and it's realising that, okay, maybe even though that this has gone wrong, I can still do X, Y, Z, and it's working around it. So yeah, that's that for today. I hope you enjoyed listening. If you are listening on podcast, please subscribe. You can listen on Spotify and Apple Podcast, and I really appreciate if you give me a rating, share with your friends if you think this is helpful, and please, I'll leave a description of all the things that I mentioned in the podcast in the episode show notes. I'll also leave a link to a free guide that basically helps you improve your relationship to food and just find a little more food freedom if you are feeling that you've got a few rigid or restrictive mindsets around food at the moment. So please check that out. I also have a mailing list where I'm going to be sending regular newsletters, which includes things like recipes, other podcasts or books that I've been reading or listening to that I think are really worthy, and some of my key take-home messages from those podcasts and books, and just like mini updates and things that you wouldn't necessarily get on my Instagram. I really appreciate you listening. And again, the same thing goes if you're watching on YouTube. Please like, please subscribe, please share this video. This is what I want to say. Leave in the comments any questions that you might have. You can direct message me on my Instagram, and these can be questions related to body image, nutrition, diet, weight loss, any information that you've seen online that you wanted to get some clarification on. Please send them in, and I'll be making more videos, more emails, more podcasts. So yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.